The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones House of the Dragon update video. Alright my friends, in this video I will be delivering some of the most exciting news we have heard regarding House of the Dragon thus far. Now, as you all know, HBO is developing another Game of Thrones series set in George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire universe. In House of the Dragon, we will finally see what happened to House Targaryen during the Dance of Dragons when this family nearly drove itself into early extinction. These events happened roughly 170 years before the events in Game of Thrones. Now, although the Dance of Dragons did not happen during the main series, House of the Dragon will still have all of those same familiar ingredients from Game of Thrones that we all know and love. Yesterday, on George R. R. Martin's NotABlog website, he gave us a new update about House of the Dragon. What he said has me very excited because he not only admitted that he had seen the first episode of House of the Dragon, but he has also said that he loves it, and he thinks all of us will love it as well. Now, let me show you what he said. On his NotABlog website, George R. R. Martin said, "The new year is almost at hand, and with it will come all the manner of new television shows on network, cable, and streamers. I have got to confess, I was chuffed to read that the most anticipated new show, according to IMDb, was House of the Dragon. It is one hell of a list to be at the top of, too. Amazon's new Lord of the Rings series, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, Marvel shows, Star Wars shows. House of the Dragon is at the very top of this list right now. That's good company. I am anticipating House of the Dragon pretty eagerly myself, for what it's worth. Okay, I am hardly objective, and I know a lot of what you will be seeing. I, wrote the book. Also, mum's the word now, don't tell anyone. I've seen a rough cut of the first episode, and I loved it. It's dark, it's powerful, it's visceral, just the way I like my epic fantasy. Ryan and Miguel have done an amazing job, and the cast. Just as with Game of Thrones, most viewers will only have heard of a few of the actors, but I think you're going to fall in love with a lot of them. Only to then have your heart breaking later on, but no, that would be telling. I think the Targaryens are in very good hands. Anticipate away. I do not think you will be disappointed. Well my friends, there you have it, from the horse's very own mouth. This is by far the greatest update regarding House of the Dragon that I have seen all week. If George R. R. Martin actually loves it as much as he says he does, hopefully that means we will as well. As you can see, he did say it's exactly how he likes his epic fantasy, so let's all hope that it has that early Game of Thrones feel, like the series did during the first 4 seasons, when I think almost everyone can agree when the show was at its best. Maybe this also means we will be getting an official trailer soon. I know I'm not the only one looking forward to that. Now, if you have seen a lot of my other House of the Dragon videos, this update shouldn't come as a big surprise, because we already knew Ryan and Miguel were the right ones for the job. As I'm sure most of you know by now, Miguel Sapochnik is famously known for directing some of Game of Thrones' greatest episodes like Hardhome, Battle of the Bastards, and The Winds of Winter. Not only is he one of the showrunners on House of the Dragon, but if I remember correctly, he will be directing some of the episodes as well. I do believe he directed this first episode. Now, Ryan Condal is the other showrunner alongside Miguel, as well as the show's co-creator. If you heard his interview with George R. R. Martin, then you know he knows the universe inside and out. In fact, it's one of the main reasons George R. R. Martin wanted him working on House of the Dragon. He knew Ryan had already read A Song of Ice and Fire.
We had done a round of development. If you go back, when it was clear that Game of Thrones was ending, that Dave and Dan wanted to end it after 7 seasons or something, HBO started looking to develop other shows. And the 2 that I pitched were Dance of the Dragon, which became House of the Dragon, and the Dunk and Egg thing. But there were a number of other shows that were developed at that time, most of them put together by writers that HBO hired who had never read my books and who I guess had watched the show and they were doing. And when we were getting into this, I didn't want that anymore. Obviously, none of those shows ultimately got on the air. I thought, you know, I want people, if they're going to be working in my world, I want them to actually have read my books. And I liked Ryan's work, and I knew he knew the world. He had read the books, so once again in that bar at the Four Seasons,
Yes.
where it all started there.
Ryan has even stated that he learned a lot about writing from reading A Song of Ice and Fire. Where Dan and Dave might have been fans of A Song of Ice and Fire, it actually sounds like Ryan is a student of A Song of Ice and Fire. So I think the show is in great hands as well.
Tell me about how you guys met a little bit, because I think our audience would actually really enjoy this.
I'm a super fan, and I found the books at this point over 20 years ago, and I loved them. I was a huge Tolkien fan. Lord of the Rings, just worshipped at the altar of it. The movies were coming out, and I had just reread them, and I was in this kind of fantasy mode, and I was like, what else is out there? And a friend had recommended, hey, if you love Tolkien, you should really check this out, because it's really the only thing since Tolkien that really got me up out of my seat fantasy-wise. I've liked other fantasies. I've enjoyed things. There's some great classic books out there, but nothing to me held a candle to Tolkien. But this did, and it was, of course, the first book, Game of Thrones. And I read it, and I fell all the way in. I was all in. I couldn't believe how good it was. I read all three. There were 3 books at the time. Storm of Swords had just been published, and I just devoured them, and then went back and devoured them again, and it became my favorite thing. So and this happened at a time where I was learning to write myself. I was very interested in screenwriting. I'd written a couple of scripts. I was starting to try to make a career of this. I was in my early 20s, and cut to a number of years later, I've now broken in. I still love these books. I'm a huge fan of the television show. I'm watching it all. At some point I tried to get my agents to get me a staff writer job on the show, and they were like, they don't have staff writers. It's just the 2 of them write the whole show. So I respected him so much, and actually learned so much from him as a writer, because I credit, even though the books are prose books, George started as a dramatic writer, a screenwriter in television. So the books are written in this, Dave, you've read them. They're written in this incredibly cinematic way with hooks at the end of chapters. There's dialogue. I mean, you could very easily just put slug lines into those books and create scenes out of them. It's not a novelistic style of writing. So I learned a lot about character and storytelling and atmosphere and theme and all these, literary tools like foreshadowing and how to write prophecy, compelling prophecy that doesn't seem dinky or foregone conclusion. All these things that I still use today that I learned from those books. So it was just really exciting for me to be able to meet George, and then we hit it off, and then on down the road we go. 5, 6, 7 years later, it turned into a job offer, which still blows my mind that I'm sitting here doing this show.
All of this has me very excited for House of the Dragon. Now, like I say in a lot of my other videos, make sure all of you subscribe now, that way you can get notified whenever I drop a new video. That way you can stay in the know and up to date on any and all information regarding Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and A Song of Ice and Fire. The amount of videos I will be making will only increase now that House of the Dragon is finally here. As always, I want to thank everyone for stopping by and watching this video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.